So my name is Janis Collins, and I'm honored to bring you some thoughts. A few of our regular practices. All right. Now that you've had the flight attendant speech, let's turn our minds to the contemplation of what we find worthy. Settle your body in a way that's comfortable for you. Turn off your cell phones and take a deep, calming breath. Let us worship together. Sherry Woodbury writes, "Again, we reground ourselves here in our highest values. Love is the center and foundation of this faith. Love is the power that holds us together as a community. As we enter into worship, then, let us open our hearts to the healing power of liberating love. Because love is not only something we receive, but something we practice in community. Let fall away all that might distract us from the wholehearted practice of love. Let us be accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. As we continue to listen and learn, to act and grow, may each unfold in wholeness, both deeply loving and truly loved." You are invited to stand as we sing hymn number 10 410. 10. Yep, okay. 10 from the hardback hymnal, Immortal Love. Please join me in our chalice lighting words. Let this flame be to us a symbol of the wholeness we seek. Its glow reminding us of the sacred bonds which link us to all people. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. A reading from the Christian tradition. If I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I could boast about it, but if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Prophecy and speaking in unknown languages and special knowledge will become useless, but love will last forever. Now our knowledge is partial and incomplete, and even the gift of prophecy reveals only part of the whole picture. But when the time of perfection comes, these partial things will become useless. When I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child, but when I grew up, I put away childish things. Now we see imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror, but then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. We practice meditation in several ways, with candles and music, with sharing what is weighing down or lifting up our spirits, with thoughtful words, with silence, and with a pastoral hymn. As Rosemary escorts us musically, you are invited to come light a candle in honor of a joy or sorrow on your heart today. We'll light the first candle in the hope that we will always find love at the center, even in these difficult times. Thank you to those who are sharing themselves with us. If I misread or am unable to read what you've written here, I hope you will find me after the service to let me know what you gifted us with this morning. James says a dear friend died suddenly, unexpectedly. They ended their battle with mental illness. Kathy Mastardi says, and thanks for all we have in Canada, and prayers for those around the world who have so much less. Kathy Keefe says, remembering my dear friend Mavis Kerr, who died tragically in July 2 years ago. Wendy Martin, says my grandkid's cat Lily passed away yesterday. Heather Mizuno says my cousin's grandma turned 102 yesterday. And Paula says my adult son David died June 1st of pulmonary hypertension. As always, a mixture of joys and sorrows. Like life, we hold them all in our hearts. Let's light a final candle for all the hopes, joys, fears, and sorrows, both spoken and unspoken, that are with us today. Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, president of our UU Cousin organization just south of here, has this to say. We Unitarian Universalists are people with diverse identities, stories, and experiences. Yet we are personally, theologically, and covenantally bound together by the expansive love that has always been the animating center of our faith. Far more powerful than any faction, leader, nation, or creed, it is this fierce love that compels our deepest loyalty and our most courageous action. And it is this love that moves through and between us, enabling us to nurture wisdom, guidance, courage, and grounding in ourselves and in one another. Please stay seated as we sing our pastoral hymn, number 95, in the hardback hymnal, There Is More Love Somewhere. What's love got to do with it? Where is the love? Why do fools fall in love? And will you still love me tomorrow? I ask because we talk about love a lot. Every Sunday we gather, we say, love is the doctrine of this church. The Unitarian Universalist Association in the States has recently rewritten their covenant to explicitly state that love is at the center of all their values. It would not be difficult to make the case that each of our own principles is grounded in love. So, what does that love word mean, and how do we cultivate it? In the Bible literalist church in which I was raised, there always came a time when the preacher would want to exegete a biblical text. They wanted to dig right into the meaning of the words in a verse so we'd know what they really meant. Their favorite choice was the passage on love that you heard earlier in the service. I mean, they exegeted the heck out of that. We got the whole story on the different kinds of Greek words that were used instead of the all-encompassing English word love. I've since learned that if these preachers had spent their time exegeting other scriptures, things might have been very different in that Bible literalist church, like how women are treated and what Paul really said to us about us in his letters. The blinders of conservative men aside, I have found it useful to know the Greek word used for love in 1 Corinthians 13 to understand what it says about love. We were told that there were 4 Greek words, all translated into our word love. Again, I've since learned that there were more words in Greek for love, and that maybe only 3 of them were used in the Bible itself. However, I can get my point with just the 4. The 4 words that those preachers told us about were eros, which means passionate love, philia, which means the love between friends, storge, which describes familial love, and agape, which means universal love, such as the love for strangers, nature, or the gods. As it turns out, the word used in the passage on love that I read earlier, 1 Corinthians 13, is always agape. It's this description of love, of agape, from this biblical text that I mean when I say love is the doctrine of this church. So what is this agape love asking us to do? Not to have a physical attraction to everyone, not to try to be friends with everyone. We all know someone we aren't interested in being friends with, and we know there are others who don't want to be friends with us. It's not asking us to love everyone like family. It's asking us to respect the inherent worth and dignity of all people, to use justice, equity, and compassion in our relationships. It's asking us to accept one another and encourage each other's spiritual growth, to freely and responsibly search for truth and meaning, because that's how we will make decisions on how to love. Agape love asks us to respect the right of conscience and the ability of all to participate in the decisions affecting their lives. Agape love demands a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. It calls for us to understand that we're inextricably bound up with every other person, with all of nature. And it compels us to break down barriers to full inclusion for all, whether those barriers are personal or institutional. It's important for us also to remember that this universal love includes ourselves. So it's not asking us to allow ourselves to be harmed or to allow bad behavior in others. Now here's the hard part. Agape love is asking us to care for those who are behaving badly, who are being harmful, who are being hateful, in the ways our 8 principles call us to do, even as we take necessary action to protect ourselves and others from their harm. I want to be clear as I say this that I don't believe that this definition of love expects an abused person to have anything to do with their abuser. Their job is to protect themselves. It's the job of the rest of us to discern what may have caused a human being to want or feel entitled to hurt another person. It's our job to figure out how society can prevent someone from becoming an abuser in the first place and make it happen. Our understanding of justice has got to be informed by what we believe love to be, by what we think it means that everyone has inherent worth and dignity. Is justice retribution or rehabilitation? Can a person become better, or are they doomed from birth to be harmful? So how do we develop this kind of universal love? I'm afraid the answer is frustratingly simple to say. We have to practice it. We have to train ourselves to be patient, kind, generous-hearted, good-tempered, to rejoice in the truth, and to endure through every circumstance. I don't have a 5-point process or a nifty mnemonic device for you, but I can share with you something I've been trying. I start with trying to remember to ask, when I see someone being rude or hurtful, what would cause them to act that way? Then I imagine a scenario that will explain it. I read somewhere that when we are rude or hurtful, we attribute it to being tired or stressed or have some other reason to excuse it. But when someone else is rude or hurtful, we just think they're an idiot. So I try to make a little game out of it. Instead of murmuring idiot to myself when someone cuts me off in traffic or when a store clerk is rude, I imagine a scenario that would explain their behavior while considering them a basically good person. I'll imagine something like, oh, they cut me off because they're rushing to the hospital to be present when their partner delivers their baby. Or they're just getting off their second job and are so tired they don't realize how close they cut it. When I see a politician endorsing or causing harm, I think, I wonder what happened to them to make them so afraid of difference or so afraid of losing power. Now, I'm not saying I'm very good at this game, especially with the politicians. I have a tendency to yell at them when they're on the TV advocating for something I think is a terrible idea. But I do keep practicing, and someday I hope that the empathy that comes from asking those questions becomes my default position. As I was finishing up this reflection, I started to say that practicing agape love won't change the world, but I actually think it could. The more we understand each other, the better our plans for coexistence will be. Gandhi talked about learning from the best in every religion and asserted that it did not diminish a person's dedication to their own tradition. I believe that this is one of those bests we can learn from. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. So your invitation to contemplation today is to recall a time when someone was unkind to you and imagine a scenario that would explain their behavior without assuming they're a bad person. Then on the foam hearts, did everybody get one? Anybody need one? I think one's coming. Okay. On the foam hearts, please write down a scenario where you will try this tactic in the coming weeks. Just something simple like at the grocery store or during a work meeting. Take the hearts downstairs and add them to the Cultivating Spirit bulletin board there. Contemplate. Sure. So you're invited today to contemplate a time when someone was unkind to you and to imagine a scenario that would explain their behavior without assuming they are a bad person. And then on the foam hearts, please write down a scenario where you will try this tactic of imagining in the coming weeks. It could be something simple like at the grocery store, during a work meeting, picking up my kids for school, my kids, whatever. And then take the hearts downstairs and, oh, Wendy says no. Put the hearts in the plate that she has, and she will put them on the board. I chose not to have you write down the name of the person you were thinking of in the first episodes. Could cause some problems. Does anybody need more time? Okay, a few more moments. I scheduled 5 minutes for this. It's been 3 and it feels like an hour. All right, we'll continue, but feel free to finish up as we continue or after we're finished. Thank you for your participation in this contemplation experiment. You are invited to stand as we sing our closing hymn, number 410 in the hardback hymnal, Surprised by Joy. And again from Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt. The love that lives at the center of our Unitarian Universalist faith is a love that sets us free. Not free as in having the power to do whatever we want, but free as in not weighed down or bound by the patterns of hatred and control that get passed from generation to generation. Free as in knowing, without a doubt, that we are worthy and that it is ours to invite others into the same wisdom about themselves. Free. Let us carry the flame. Let the people say, Amen.